Hello everyone, welcome to yet another 2-Minute Tuesday. I'm not really sure how long today's tip is going to be about because I want to talk about security, and that typically takes me on a tangent, and I start talking about best practices and all of that. But what I wanted to talk about is one of the features that was recently introduced to Dynamics 365. And if you go to security roles and just open any security role, it doesn't matter, you will see it listed right there. It's called Members Privilege Inheritance. Now, by default, this option is selected as Team Privilege Only. So here's the way this works. When you're part of a team in Dynamics 365, or in model-driven apps as well, you essentially you can perform as that team. You can act on behalf of the team. So I'll give you an example. If you as a user don't have permissions to create accounts, let's just say maybe you only have read account permissions, but your team has create account permissions at the user level. So let me just show you right here. So here's the account, here's create. This is a good example. User level permissions for create on account. So if you're part of a team that has this specific permission, you can only create accounts that are owned by the team, not by yourself. Meaning you don't get to inherit that permission to yourself, and then you're able to create accounts as a user. If you don't believe me, you can go ahead and try this on your own Dynamics 365 instance. It's one of those questions I like to ask my students on CRM administration courses and stuff like that, and almost every single person gets it wrong because it's confusing. And that's why I'm, one of the best practices that I talked about on, let's say, episode 19 of the CRM MVP podcast is I don't like to use Teams for security, configuration and administration. However, Microsoft has been adding functionality and adding capabilities to Dynamics to make it easier, especially for brand new administrators, to be able to configure security. Case in point, the ability to switch this from the out-of-the-box behavior to direct user. So direct user essentially makes a security role assigned to a team work like, when I say most of the people get it wrong, it works just like that. It bypasses, it assigns, it transfers the permissions from the team to the user, which means that now the user would be able, in our example, to create accounts owned by themselves. That is not the way it used to be. The way it used to be was you can only perform on behalf of the team, which is team privileges only. So you now have the ability to do those too. So that is the tip for today. I just wanted to talk about that in case you need it. Now, even though this is, Microsoft is making it easier, so you can now choose on a on a security role per security role basis. Now you're able to, pick how you want those security roles to behave. I still believe it's too confusing, and not only confusing, it kills performance, right? This is why I never use team-based security on my implementations. Every implementation that I do, I like to use user-level security instead of team-based security. I still use Teams for things that make sense, but I don't use it for security. So it's like a twofold tip this week. I wanted to show you this new way to apply security roles in case you were not familiar with it, but I also wanted to mention that the best practice still remains. Try to stay away from team security. It's confusing, it's slow, it will kill performance. And next week, I will be going a little bit deeper into why it kills performance. As a matter of fact, there's even an option to shut this whole down completely in terms of organizations where performance is just being totally annihilated by using team-based security. But you'll have to wait till next week. Just make sure you subscribe, though. I hope you enjoyed the tip this week, and we'll see you next week.